independently from whether you have twin flame, flames, or soulmates. And your oversoul, your lovely love and relationships are with attachment. So, attachment and expectations, we want to be aware of not having expectations. What that means is that you do know that you will be seeking for yourself safe haven, secure base, relationships, and that people will let you know if they are on board with it or not. So, for some people, they actually inquire, they ask questions. For those of us who have a sense of self worth, yeah, we don't ask, we understand. It's not in the absence of talking, though. And what that means is that we will directly converse with those called twin flame, flames, soulmates, oversoul, about our emotions and our thoughts. And that's the authentic self. Okay, so when you know how to be yourself in your relationships, that's why you're a part of the 5D collective. You have a sense of self. You're looking to be reliant more and more on your self worth as you get to engage in what is a functional adult love language, because you are a securely attached, whether it's earned or you have had it. In all equations, you do love to do emotions. Those 6 basic emotions: surprise, disgust, fear, happiness, sadness, anger, and okay, so with our oversoul, we get to express all of these 6 emotions fully. Why? Because a securely attached 1-year-old, 3-year-old, no shame button, remember, that's where you are at if you're relying on your own sense of self-worth. If you're not here yet, then the inner growth mindset, the main modules, there's a beginners and an intermediate, and then there's the advanced. It's once you get to the advanced that you have neutrality and duality. That begins the journey of you utilizing your prefrontal cortex, which means that you will have began to be an integrated ventral vagal state of you, integrated brain, okay? So 5D mystic here, a divine feminine is an integrated brain with a restorative embodiment, self-aware, accountable, and regulating human being. We have healthy self-worth, and we do not capture, limit, or give limitations or actively try to contain any masculine. And any person that is a masculine will be someone who does not have their sense of self yet. So they don't even know how to rely on their self-worth. And in fact, they usually end up with Pinocchio on the island with Stromboli. And those are called the codependent types. And they have love porousness and love dependencies and love avoidances. And they do low self-esteem and direct communication, passive-aggressive. Their boundaries is unfriending you, blocking you, calling you names, continuing to call you names, especially if you're a polyamory person, by the way. We get to be labeled as whores. You know, it's funny to me, but I have a good sense of humor and I have healthy self-worth. So even as an evil bitch or an evil witch, I'm like, wow, that's funny. I have a scale of evil. Do you want to hear it? No, I won't actively do that. Okay, so that's where our oversoul, we get to be vulnerable. In my case, I get to be humorous. With my lovely twin flames, I got to be vulnerable, yes, and so do with my soulmate. So when it comes to romance, we get to do the sad, the angry, the disgusted no, because it will be an immediate no. So with soulmates, twin flames, we get to say no to that sex stuff that some people will present to you. Yes, I have one man I'm thinking about. And I still remember as he tried to manipulate his way into certain places, if you will. And I'm like, I told you no. I don't know how many more times you want me to repeat you, but I will break up with you if you don't cease and desist immediately. So, you know what? Here's the deal. You want to go? We can be an open relationship. No? You're not interested in sharing. I see. Okay, then back the fuck off. I didn't curse at the time, but I would have cursed. So that's what a healthy self-worth human being, no disrespect intended, there's plenty of room for freedom, because a healthy self-worth woman, man, or they will not be afraid of what? Non-monogamy? Yes, it's way better to have consensual, non-monogamous conversations, excuse me, you know, this is again so interesting to me when I meet the women and men and theys who call us unfaithful. And then I present to them, you know, I'd say that unfaithful is though those men who come to me, actively having me become aware of their interests and me presenting to them, you are in a monogamous relationship, correct? you did promise till death do you part, sickness and in health. Okay, so I did, what's the word, humor. No, I didn't humor. So when you have a bond with people, you won't deny it. There's one thing a person who is an authentic self will not do is to lie. We don't feel ashamed of not lying. We actively know it's okay. The repercussions are of no interest because we don't want to lie just because society will deem a person a whore. I mean, again, it's not an insult. Actively, it's a job for some people that they actively will talk about in a certain way. And I don't believe that in 2024 we actively use these words. The smart people, that is. The ones of us who don't stigmatize, so we make laughter out of these words, is what I'm trying to get to. The ones who still make a big deal out of all words, well, I'm hoping that we'll have the freedom to keep using words. If not, we will correct course and we will redirect, because that's what a smart person can do. I'm in favor of freedom of speech personally, and that means using all words. That's why when the comedian called polyamory whores, I laughed. I was like, that's a good one. When I got called a masochist, I said, not all of us are. I don't know if polyamory are. I think you might have met people who might not have healthy self-worth. And the person's like, yeah, but it's really hard to have healthy self-worth. This is a man who was addressing it. And I'm like, well, and I didn't say it's hard for those who don't go to therapy because that would have been very disrespectful. I just said, well, some of us, we have healthy self-worth. And then I said, aren't you happy about the choices you made? You've told me you made choices based on what your parents directed you to do. So I'm going to ask, you're happy with your job and the way you want to lead your relationships, right, man? Yes? Yes. Okay, good. So no, not all polyamory people are masochists. And honestly, I don't know which one of them that you've met are, but I'm going to say they need a good therapist for their relationships if what you're telling me is that they suffer and they consistently seek suffering. But I know of people who actually talk to their partners in a Diego type family dynamic, you know, the ones who basically are passive aggressive, they abuse each other, and then they actively say that's what love is, which is why Stephen Porges didn't write his book about what true love is with his wife, which is only when you are securely attached, because that's when the oxytocin gene hormone is on. So whenever you see any person saying being well is fucking boring, you know, they do not, in their body, no secure attachment with another human being, which is why they're okay with torturing each other and doing stuff that is within the sympathetic nervous system, which is why, again, the face. So women, men, and theys who have a sense of self, they have their 1-year-old and their 3-year-old, and it's an independent one, and then they have the capacity to not be their fight response, a 16-year-old. That's a charged state that leads any person who's a Cusco out there, FYI, for at least this divine feminine 5D mystic. They're spiritual bypassers. They're not on the true spirituality journey because they are standing around with pitchforks, poking it at people, telling them and telling each other what words to use and not use. And then they're blaming humans for a lot. So long story short, that's for those people. And mental health mantles, yeah, we see them all over the place. So here we say we are all people, and some of us are the woo-woo spiritual people. And here's where our twin flames, we get to talk to them in their faces, not behind their backs. And soulmates too, and our oversoul. And so what I can tell you, romantically speaking, I have gotten to learn how to stand up for Maria again and again and again with joy, might I add. The sadness that can come, it is like when I was a 4-year-old and I came home crying to my mother because the boys didn't want to play, but that's because I didn't want to play. So while they were riding around this area with my twin sister in the car, they came to pick us up with cars, apparently, those first little kid dates, I didn't get to play in one of these, obviously. They turned me away, and it's because I was too serious. I would sit children down at my 4 years of age, and I would read to them, and I would make them stay seated. And there's that divine feminine who's a nurturer who was containing and limiting that capacity. But see, I was a 4-year-old. I was an immature divine feminine. Oh my God, this is awesome. I wasn't planning on this. Wait. Because masculines, they need to be captured, contained, given limitations, and then nurtured. And that's where, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to get ready for another one. So, with that being said, I learned how not to do any of that and to become a mature divine feminine by the time I was, yep, okay, yes, this is all making sense. So I'm thinking of one of my twin flames. Oh my gosh, one of my first lessons. I'm not going to share that one. Some of my stories won't be shared, but I am humored. So this is what happens when you're divine feminine. You're like, wow, my oversoul. 1, 2, 3, you fit all perfectly into harmony. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Being vulnerable, being yourself. When someone told me once as they were breaking up with me, I thought you would change. I was like, what? You didn't meet me. Another person, that they were humorous. You lied to me. I didn't lie. I didn't know or recognize that I was supposed to remember every human being man that I had ever been with and to list them all. What is this? A shopping list? And I'm not your proper, like, what? I don't, I can never trust you again. And as this is happening, I'm just inside. Yes, finally it's over, you know. It's funny how consciousness speaks to us because, see, it wasn't a relationship that I wanted to end, but then again, I did because it wasn't going where I wanted to go. And in fact, we were completely incompatible. I'm not a jealous person, and I'm not property, and nobody's my property. And as for you already know about the teenage boyfriend, that was a month later. I'm like, yes, I'm free. Which is why, with our lovely twin flames for Divine Feminine, it's a bonus. And we don't miss out on anything. In fact, we actively get everything that we will have looked for. And that is because when you are happy to be alive, the most precious thing, it is life. Whenever I'm waking up, I just got what I wanted. I want to breathe. Where's water? Wait. Let me drink. Okay, now I need some food. No, I'm not hungry yet. There we go. Those are my basic needs. And then the second step is, I want to learn stuff today. See, I'm so serious for you, but I'm a grown woman and I'm 44, so that's times 11. I'm bad with math. And on that note, we have fun with our relationship. So we'll be having another episode where I want to focus on attachment if the sun allows me to. In the meantime, with our twin flames and soulmates and our oversoul, we get to be ourselves, as you can tell. And that is by sharing all of those basic emotions. Oh, we don't hide them. Oh, yeah, there's no hiding of it. In fact, if there's one thing a divine feminine will be happy about, let me see, 1, 2, yeah, 2 times. I was like, you know what? It's a really good thing that I'm not anywhere near anyone. I'm happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy that I have silence. It's a good day. Good day. Let me go find those people that I want to talk to today. Hey, girlfriend, come on over. I got some stories. Are we going to go have lovely fun together? Let's go out. Let's go meet some guys. Maybe we'll find some funny ones to hang out with today. They'll humor us with their clown attitudes. A lot of Cusco's out there. One of my favorite friends, he is humorous to say the least. When he heard about my twin flames and my polyamory status, he's like, you're traumatized. I said, no, I'm not. Did you not hear I love more? No, you're traumatized. You're just lying. Okay, look, let me spell it out to you again. Sadness is not a crime. It is not torture if you're using your prefrontal cortex. I know how to break it down to you like you're a 5-year-old. So for you, and in fact for him, when he figured out what polyamory is, I was like, it's not about fucking more people. No, that actively doesn't happen unless we're interested in it. And that won't happen unless I'm intellectually interested, plus emotionally. Intellectually has to be there. Yeah, see, that's the part. If you are not somebody who's intriguing on a mental level, you can have all the beautiful emotions you want. Essentially, my mind wants stimuli, and that means as an entrepreneur, content creator, and person who thinks of the future, you need to be able to have me create more, not less. So if you don't have intellect, I'm going to have fun, but I'm going to want more. And that's why polyamory, again, it's a secure base, safe haven, secure base. Obviously, perfection is when you have the two into one. That would mean, though, that you find a human being and or more who have the same intellectual capacity of interest, which there can be, and the same level of emotional depth, which there can be. And those are called emotionally and mentally and physically mature men and women and days who will be joining our lovely IHP community. because they are restorative embodiment, self-aware people with accountability and regulation skills, mystics and not. And we do honor all people, but we tease all people too. And with the whole thing of how life has been going, I'm looking forward to being able to just continue what we're doing here. If we need to correct course in any of those ways that our lovely social media platforms will dictate, well, we will do what we will do. So on that note, the journey of a 5D mystic and the journey of anyone spiritual is actively to guide and support each other, to have a voice, to share our voice, and to share our stories. And the people who heal from any of their childhood trauma and they're finally able to forgive, they will be ready to be functional adults. As long as they're not ready to forgive, they will not want to be with those of us who welcome all. And we are okay with that, because I understand when people are not ready to do what Jesus taught me, or God, and it's called they still have a trust break. And therefore it's called that they still have childhood trauma charge somewhere. It doesn't matter where that somewhere is, but they will have an in-group leader that they will say, that is the person that tells me about how I want the grown-ups to be. And that is because that's an adaptive child behavior pattern and a maladaptive child behavior pattern, and those are all people within the human suffering love group. It is because they actively ignore the fact that they just spoke with their likes and dislikes, those 6 basic emotions, and they're not aware of it because they choose to say, no, I know everything. And that person who I put on a pedestal, and those people out there, they all know the irrefutable facts of the truth that I'm stating has to be life and da-da-da-da. So we leave that alone again, and that's not intellectually interesting at all. It's a teenager who knows everything, and that's a boring one, because even I, as a teenager, knew I didn't know everything, which is why when I got correct coursed by people that are my loved ones, not my lovers. My lovers, they all taught me how to speak more about who Maria is and what I'm all about. And that's actively why I honor all of them, because they got me to say, whether it was with anger, with sadness, with disgust, with happiness, surprise, with surprise, fear. I don't have fear, not with any of my men. No, fear would not be a good one. Luckily for me, I got raised by a human being called Mother, who taught me exactly what to do if any human being in any way, shape, or form would be a scary, scary monster. Mom, I need you, and that's it. And moms, we know how moms get if their children are in danger. The ones who are able to be there. Okay, so we have moms that are not. Child-centric environment was what I'm talking about. So I know what it means to be protected, is what I'm trying to get. And in the correct way, which is why when I went home crying about not being able to be let to play, you're too serious. But when you get older, it'll be okay, because you'll find people who will be intellectually serious like you. And now that I'm a grown-up, yes, there are some. There are some. Not as many as I want. But I'm sure that they'll be growing, because, the year is 2024, and we have emotionally and mentally mature people out there who know all about the restorative embodiment self-aware opportunity, and that's because of IHP. So come on over, and again, let's respect and share our lovely voices and stories. And do remember, people who are not ready for human love narrative, they have a whole group of human suffering love narrative. They can go have fun over there. We'll be back with more. Thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe if you know anyone who's interested in spiritual self-help and personal development, who is interested in expanding their consciousness into tapping into that infinite higher human consciousness plane, and to know that no saga or drama comes with our twin flame or flames or soulmates. What comes, our choice points, our oversoul, gives us, again, the opportunity to be full-fledged human beings with all of those 6 human basic emotions, speaking it to your face, not hiding ourselves, instead romanticizing and actively growing together and getting old. And as we get old, get wrinkly and all that good stuff, and have fun. So yeah, you can ask how old I am. I don't do don't ask me how old I am. So we get to have fun and tease those people too. Yes, we do, because seriously. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go now because I have fun stories for you. See you soon.